1% of students got full marks on this question, explaining why potassium chloride has a high melting point, and there's loads of places that you can go wrong. So let's see how many you'd get. So first of all, there is a little structure that you can follow to make sure you get full marks on any question that's asking you about melting and boiling point for any substance. And it's always the first bit of this structure that students miss out. So for any question on melting and boiling point, the first thing you need to talk about is whether the substance has got a giant or a simple molecular structure. Now, if it's got a high melting point, the substance is going to have some form of giant structure, and in this case for potassium chloride, it's going to have a giant ionic structure, and that simple sentence, that simple statement, will get you the first 2 marks of this 4-mark question. And remember, it's ionic because potassium chloride, potassium is a metal, chlorine is a non-metal, and that's what an ionic bond forms between a metal and non-metal. Next, we talk about what kind of force or bond there is. So in the case of an ionic compound, remember, one atom has lost electrons, one's gained electrons. You've formed oppositely charged ions, and you've got a strong electrostatic attraction between these. So that's your next point. So you say that you've got strong electrostatic attraction between the oppositely charged ions, and then your final point is always talking about energy. You need to say, in this case, that large amounts of energy are needed to overcome this attraction. Obviously, if you'd been talking about a substance that had a low melting or boiling point, then you would say that not a lot of energy is needed to overcome this, but in this case, large amounts are. Loads of students for this question reference intermolecular forces. Now, if you reference the incorrect form of bonding for a bonding question, you're limited on how many marks you can get. So if you talk about intermolecular forces here, even if you get everything else right, the maximum that you are going to get is 2 marks. If you want to see what your answer would get, pop it in the comments below and I'll give it a mark out of 4.